All right. We are on the draw here with Rug Delver, and is this a keep? I feel like it's not a keep. We have interaction thanks to these shoals. By the way, match 2 of the league with our Chart and Shoal Delver deck. Don't really like having these 3 counter spells. Chances are one of these is going to pitch to a shoal either for 1 or for 2. Turn 1 Visions. But I feel like we can do much better. It's kind of a safe hand. If they have something aggressive, we get to shoal. That's nice. We can fetch out a Steam Vents, cast a Visions. That's also nice. I don't know if it's actually a good hand, though. Having the 3rd land is probably the biggest difference. If this was another Visions, a Bolt, a Threat would be fantastic. This is probably an easy keep. As is, I think I want to mulligan it. Then again, in the dark, we don't really have enough information to say this is bad in specific matchups. So I think I am going to keep it. Something science. Find out if this kind of hand feels good. Street Wraith. Okay. Hello, Death's Shadow or Hollow One. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Scalding Tarn. Who knows? 3rd Shoal. Alright, we drew all 3. Good job, team. We did it. We got there. Scalding Tarn after 2 Street Wraiths make me assume we're playing against a Grixis Death's Shadow deck, but we don't know yet. Gonna start off with the Serum Visions. Hopefully we can find a threat. Actually, I would be fine if all 3 cards are threats. Here's a fetch. Do they just want to denial this? If they denial this, do I let that resolve? We can shoal pitching denial, but that turns off our ability to shoal something like a Death's Shadow. I actually think I want to shoal this. Cast by exiling. Reason being, we need that Visions to find us a threat. They basically confirmed they're playing Grixis Death's Shadow. It's possible they're playing one of the 4 or 5 color builds. But, man, do we need to find a threat. Chart, of course, going to go on the bottom. Visions on top. Chart, of course, going to look at 2 cards, which is something. It gets 2 cards deep. Serum Visions gets 3 cards deep. So why settle for 2? The opponent, shocking here, going down to 10. If this is a Shadow, we might have to counter it. Oh geez, it's a Gurmag Angler or a Tassiger. We don't have a choice as to countering it. Alright. Can't shoal that. Gonna draw the Visions. I might get a Breeding Pool here. If we get a Breeding Pool off of this Misty, we can double cantrip without interfering with our Scry. It's something. I don't really want to get a Forest and then cast Visions because we don't really have any follow-up to that. So that play isn't going to be great. We can go Island Visions, or we could even go just not a land drop Visions just in case we need the green source for a Mandrills. I don't really like that. I think we're going to go Island Visions. We're going to mess up the Scry sooner or later by taking this line, but I think it's better. Tarmogoyf and Stubborn Denial. I actually want both of those on top, I think. 3 card types in the bin. Goyf's not going to contend with Tassiger very well. We actually want to have a chance to draw the Denial anyways. We'll top. I could Visions again. In which case I shouldn't have layered them like that. We definitely want a Visions again because I'm not looking to Thought Scour here. Okay, do I want both of these? Forked Bolt seems really bad here. Denial still seems okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Doesn't seem great, but it seems okay. This is bad because I would much rather have the Denial in my hand than this Tarmogoyf. If the opponent has a Thoughtseize or an Inquisition of Kozilek, we're going to have to shoal pitch Thought Scour to protect our threat because this threat goes down prematurely. We're in huge trouble. Shock, quite possibly a Death Shadow. Speaking of trouble, Liliana of the Veil, okay? That is completely awful. Absolutely dreadful. I'm going to Thought Scour away our Stubborn Denial, because it's not doing anything. Don't want to discard my green source. Get rid of one of the shoals. We're going to Thought Scour away the Stubborn Denial, hoping to find something that'll help us. Because Denial is not it. Bolt. Okay. That's a start. Other land. So, we can Bolt Liliana. Liliana still gets to tick up. Jeez. Okay, so we're just in a dreadful spot. We're going to play out the Misty. How are we going to do this? Liliana resolving on an empty board. Basically what got us, I want to say. Just like when you're playing against GBX. If they play Liliana, you don't have a board presence, they get to tick it up. Any threat we resolve just gets -2'd. Playing out this Goyf is awful. We bolt the Liliana, we knock it down to 1. Awesome, they can't -2. On their turn, they tick up. If we had more mana, we cannot play our 4th land. We'd be able to play Goyf and Bolt, which would give us something. For now, we have to just pass. Passing here is quite dreadful, but it's what we have to do. I don't think we actually have an out to that Liliana. If we get running bolts, we're good. Then again, the opponent may very well have another Stubborn Denial, which totally screws that up. And while we're trying to figure out how to get past this Liliana, they have a 4-turn clock. 3 turns actually, because we're cracking at least 1 fetch, probably both. Okay. Land or shoal? Land or shoal? Definitely need Bolt and Goyf. We discard the shoal. Shoal's probably not doing much anyways. The land would be good. Land actually doesn't help us if we hit Snapcaster Mage, because Snap Bolt gonna take too much, so I'm actually gonna discard this Flooded Strand. The shoal, I think, is slightly more valuable. Ever so slightly. They discarded a Street Wraith, played out a land. Here comes Tasigur. Right down Tasigur Lane. We'll go to their end step. Crack this. Think we're going to get a Stomping Ground here, just in case Bolt Snap Bolt becomes relevant. And we're going to send this over this way. Do I just go for face here? If we hit another Bolt effect to deal with Liliana. Oh, never mind. This is getting countered. 2 mana? Snap. Snap. That's fine. It's quite good for them. Thought Scour. Well. Does it matter? We scour ourselves. We hope to draw something. We need to deal with Liliana and their board presence. We can deal with their board presence by resolving this Tarmogoyf and hoping they don't draw a removal spell. But this Liliana is a removal spell, so we have to deal with that. Scour, Mandrills. Okay. That's a start. It's a really poor start, but it's a start. We are actually probably just going to be dead. Most likely. We do this, they tick down, we go to 2. Even if we deal with Liliana, we can't block both of their creatures. Sack that. So I do believe we are firmly in the dead territory. Opponent with a land. I don't believe they need to lose more life. I like not shocking there. We drew a land, and that's going to do it. Go to the opponent. So, we are playing against Grixis Death Shadow. This is almost certainly not one of the 4 or 5 color builds. Those lean much more heavily on green, I believe. I don't think there's Grixis Splash White for Lingering Souls. I don't think that's a deck. I know there's Jund Splash White for Souls. There's also Jund Splash Blue for Denial. That ticking up is fine. We're going to discard this Wooded Foothills. They splash blue for Denial and Jund. I think Grixis sometimes splashes green for Traverse and Goyf, but don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's a thing. The main difference between those two builds being the Grixis build leans more heavily on Snapcaster Mage. But alas, we're going to go to -4, and we're going to see how we can improve this matchup post-board. Oh, geez. Forgot to move that over. Let's fix that. Here's our list, what we're currently running. Tarfire at the bottom there. Actually, I can make these a little smaller for you guys in case Tarfire's just under, or we'll do it that way. Make it even bigger. Easier to see cards. Alright, Grixis Death Shadow with the Chart and Shoal version. We're going to cut 2 Mandrills. They don't stack up well against Delve Fatties. We're going to cut 2 Thought Scours because the opponent is very interactive and should help us to fill up that graveyard. Forked Bolt gonna go. 2 Lightning Bolts going to join it. Don't need many bolt effects here. And I'm going to cut 2 Disrupting Shoals, it looks like. I have no idea if that's right. I also want to see if I can not do that. I know I decided that myself while planning out how I would do this, but I want to keep Shoal as much as possible, and I want to keep Chart as much as possible in this league, because I really want to get a feel for those 2 cards. Nux is good, Dismember's good, Blood Moon's good. Running lots of 3-drops here. Mountain, EE, 2 Huntmasters. Flash Freeze isn't that great here. They have some red spells, not that many. Basically no colorless that I can think of. Maybe an EE here and there. Artifact Hate, Sweeper is not what we want. Artifact Enchantment Hate, not something I'm interested in. So, how good is Disrupting Shoal right now? We still have a minute to figure this out. We've got 14 1 CMC pitches, so we don't want to cut any more of those. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 2 CMC pitches. The trouble with this matchup is we bring in, look at all these cards that aren't blue. EE, Huntmasters, Dismember, Blood Moon, Nux is blue. Pitch that to counter Kozilek's Return. I hope they don't board in Kozilek's Return against us. That sounds awful. Use that to counter Kolagon's Command. Maybe 1 Shoal and another Bolt. We could try that. I can understand cutting Shoal here because really Shoal isn't that great in the matchup, but I don't want to go to 1. That's what I play in my regular list. We're playing this for science. If I just wanted to play it safe, I wouldn't be playing this list. Yeah, we're going to be on the play. That hand... Okay, the baubles give me some pause, but I do think this is a bad hand. That hand is much better. We are going to cut ourselves off of a color, but I am totally going to keep this. Believe we're going to grab a Breeding Pool because we don't have that many red cards that we're casting before we get to 3 mana. Let's pull up the list so we can take a look at that. The opponent's waiting for us, but I still want to take a look at that. Modern, Chart and Shoal, PZ on 2. We have 2 burn spells left in the deck. And then EE, Nux, Blood Moon, Huntmaster. So we don't have a lot of red that we need. We're going to keep this. Breeding Pool on top. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want that. I kind of want that. So, we play the island, we play Delver. We know for a fact Delver's not going to transform, but our mana's better. I'm going to take the worst mana. Take 3 damage, pick up that Breeding Pool off the top of our library. That's the one I want. Don't want Steam Vents here. Like I said, no need for red mana for at least a little while. Green mana is going to be much more important here. Go to the opponent. Hopefully we don't have to pitch this Spell Snare to Disrupting Shoal. I would like to use it. Don't know if we're going to get the chance. I'd like to cast both of these. We have 4 cards left in our hand against Thoughtseize deck. It's not going to be a fun time. Do we counter Thoughtseize with Shoal if they have it? Nihil Spellbomb. That's going to resolve. No graveyard action yet. Forest. That's fine. Our Blood Moon mana's pretty good if/when we get there. Get in for one here. Help the opponent get into Death Shadow range. It'd be really sad for our opponent if they were unable to play out their namesake card, so we want to help them get there. That, of course, is sarcasm. We want them dead. Our goals align, though. We do damage to them, they do damage to them. We see who gets there. Makes for a very interesting dynamic, that's for sure. We're not playing burn, though. It's not like we can hold up 9 damage consistently just waiting to go. So it's not like we have the ability to just let them do damage to themselves and then clean up. If this is a Delve Fatty, I'm going to be a little excited because we're going to get to dismember it. As is, they might just be trying to cycle into something good. If they have a fetch land, and they do, they're going to be able to get a Tasigur in play. Looks like that is not their goal. We're going to untap. See what Delver can do. What do you got for us, Delver? Is it good? Is it everything I've ever dreamed of? It's a Hooting Mandrills. That's pretty far from everything I've ever dreamed of, given the spot we're in. However, Mandrills might help us play around this spell bomb. We just might get there. We can Shoal for 1, hard casting, really bad cancel in hand. But you know what? That might actually be what we want to do. If they go for a Fatal Push here, I think we're going to Shoal for 1. That's perfectly fine. Having Dismember up on their turn isn't very relevant just because if they're going to be able to stop us from dismembering, it's probably due to a discard spell. Here's a push. I'm going to go for this. Cast that. Blue, blue, green. X is 1. Precisely. If the opponent has a discard spell to stop us from dismembering, they're going to use it before they cast their Delve creature to protect their Delve threat, because that's just good sequencing. So it doesn't matter that we can't dismember on their turn, because if it mattered to have the dismember right here, it doesn't actually matter. This looks like a Death Shadow. It's a shadow. Now things are going to get interesting. This is the part of the show where we figure out what to do. Attacking into that seems bad, specifically with the Mandrills. Once Delver transforms, maybe it's okay. It really doesn't look okay. Mana Leak. Alright. Alright. What do? We can't play Mandrills. We can dismember one of these shadows. I really wish we could play Mandrills, do something with that, and then dismember. As is, I think we're going to sit back on our heels. I said I like helping the opponent get into Death Shadow range. When they have 2 Death Shadows on board, I'm a lot more apprehensive about it. Unfortunately, they're the control deck here, so this isn't a good spot to be in. They're going to crack that spell bomb, pay 1, draw a card. Control decks like to draw cards. Nuke our 2 cards in the bin. Mandrill's got a lot worse. That might just be fine. Now we could dismember prior to them drawing, but I don't think I want to do that. I want to be a little more patient, I think. I'm not positive on that. I feel like I want to get them. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but I feel like I want to get them. Trick them into doing something that they shouldn't, given that they don't know we have Dismember in hand. The flip side to trying to get them, say we play out a Mandrills at some point and we attack with it, and then they double block, we dismember a shadow, eat the other one, and their board gets wrecked. That's a great spot for us. But, oh wow, they shocked. Okay. This is the kind of thing that makes me think maybe we should have dismembered before, so that they can't stubborn denial. This is a delve threat. This is not a delve threat. That's something I can mana leak. Oh, I can spell snare that. Hot diggity dog. Look at us go. Oh yeah. Death Shadow often boards into Pyromancer. Something they started doing at least somewhat recently. I do believe I'm going to dismember here. If they have a way to lose life, we are in trouble. But if they don't, it's going to be a good time. Street Wraith? Bolt yourself? Nope. Alright. We take 4 instead of 5. Then we're going to take 5. 2 cards in the bin. Fetch land makes Mandrills good. We got other stuff we can potentially do. Oh, they have another delve threat? No, it's a terminate. Alright. That's not great. It's not the end of the world. We're going to play this. Unfortunately, we have to tap out here. Not playing it seems awful. We're going to let the opponent attack here. We're not going to block. If they have a way to lose life, they would have used it last turn, which means they would have to draw something like a Street Wraith right now, which is kind of good. Other things that are relevant to not wanting to block. This Mandrills probably needs to go the distance. If they have the Bolt, I don't think I care that much. Something like a Vapor Snag would make me kind of happy. They have a way to lose life. I'm not sure I like them using that there, but I guess we know that they can lose life whenever they want. If they have Temur Battle Rage, we're just dead. Thought Scour into probably looking for a removal spell. Into a Spell Bomb, that's not great here. Pop that to draw a card. They're trying to get the win right here. What sequence of draws helps us? Second Shadow, that's pretty good. Well, that's an 8/8. We have 8 life. We're gonna block. Looks like the opponent just beat us. Mishra's Bauble. Alright, alright. I'm game. I am game. Take a look-see. What do you got? It's an Inquisition. Nice. It's a respectable card. Not bad. Draw off of Mishra's Bauble. Sometimes this is just how the Grixis matchup goes. Visions. Nice. Nice. Good sorcery. Quality sorcery. Here's the Inquisition we knew about. And we can't counter this because they have enough mana. That makes me pretty sad. I really wanted to defiantly cast counter spells. We're going to let it resolve. Really wanted to defiantly cast counter spells. Shadow is a very annoying card because it makes you stop being proactive if you can't just kill them, which is why we stopped attacking with Delver. If we did continue attacking with Delver, we might just lose faster, although we would have gotten the opponent a little lower. Their mana's totally fine though, so we wouldn't have been able to get them low enough that they can't get their mana out there. So that's not really relevant. So I think not attacking is what you should do there. Sometimes, I mean, game 1, they had a turn 2 Tasigur that we didn't have an answer to. Game 2, they had 3 quick shadows. I guess it's not that quick. What turn is it? 6? That's not that quick. That's a good turn to end a match of Modern on. I like that, but they just had quick 8/8s. What are you going to do? They were disruptive enough to stop us, And we didn't have the stuff we needed to stop them. They also went through their deck way better than we did. We've got 47 cards left. They have 36. So they sure drew a much bigger portion of their deck. Means that they're less liable to the variance of drawing cards they don't want, whereas we are not. We didn't see a red source after the fetches or a red card, which is kind of funny because we do have a decent share of those in the deck, so that's kind of neat. Dismember was great. Spell Snare got some value. Shoal countered a Fatal Push, which isn't bad. I think we played pretty well. I'm not sure what else we could have done in this game specifically. The previous game, we could have mulliganed. I'm not sure if you should mulligan in the dark there. It's entirely possible. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.